Okay, but why is nobody talking about these books? Every time I'm scrolling on Book Talk or BookTube, I never see anybody reading or talking about these books. I just see these same popular titles talked about over and over and over again. And while obviously they usually deserve the hype, I want some new books. So today I decided I'm picking up a stack of books that I don't hear anybody ever talk about. They could be total gems, complete flops, or maybe my new favorite. Either way, you're coming along for the ride with me. So let's see if these underrated books are worth more hype. Also, I would just like to mention, I'm not saying nobody ever reads these books and nobody ever talks about them ever. I'm just saying I never see them spoken about. So maybe I'm on the wrong side of the internet if these are actually crazy popular. So without further ado, let's take a look at the 3 books that we will be reading. Here we go. One of these is a new release, and still I haven't heard many people excited or talking about it. But I did figure that I would need something to kind of break up the other 2 books. And I have been reading quite a lot of heavy themes lately. Book 1 is This Is How We Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Mohtar. Super short, but I hear it is extremely impactful and one of the books that will just alter your brain chemistry. Anji Kills a King by Leikam. This is a debut novel, and I've been wanting to read it for quite some time. And last but not least, If It Makes You Happy by Olivia. This is the one that recently just released, and we're going to be using it as kind of a little palate cleanser in between all of the heavy books that I just finished and the 2 that I just showed you. So this is actually going to be our first read. I'm about 100 pages into If It Makes You Happy, and this is such a cute book so far. Our FMC Michelle is taking care of this bed and breakfast for her mother. Her mother's passed away. And her husband, or should I say ex-husband, decides he's going to announce their divorce at her mother's funeral. What a dirtbag. So now Shelley? I don't remember. I think they call her Shelley. Shelley's taking care of her mother's bed and breakfast. Her dad is so depressed and grieving for her mom that he doesn't want to be there. So she goes there. She's taking care of things until her younger sister, Sarah, can come take over once she graduates. And next door, there just so happens to be such a nice and friendly single dad with 2 adorable younger girls. One's like 6 and I think one's 16. He's a baker. He owns the bakery in town and he offers to help her figure out the bed and breakfast and how to get things running. He used to help her mom. She wants no help. So she is struggling right now. That's kind of where we're at. I really love the little small town vibes. I'm getting to know some of the other characters. It's kind of like, yeah, your typical small town romance, but it's different. I don't know. This one feels different and I like it. And it's cute. I don't have too much planned for the rest of the day, so I think I'm probably going to binge most of this book. I don't know if I'll finish it in one day or not, but I'm having such a good time. And it's like giving those perfect fall vibes. And where I'm at right now, the leaves are still starting to turn. We're not like fully in fall. We're still end of summer, beginning of fall, but it's kind of getting me in that cozy mood. Just want to curl up on the couch and continue reading. I literally spent all night binging this book. It was a pretty thick one for a cute, cozy romance, but let me tell you, if you are going to read one fall book this year, let it be this one. Honestly, I gave this like 4.75 stars, like basically 5 stars. The only reason it didn't get a 5 stars is because there's a couple times in this book where they mention like his veiny hands. And I don't know why that icks me out, but it just does. Like, I don't know, is that a thing people pay attention to? Veiny hands? I don't know, it's a little strange. But other than that, this was so stinking cute. I mentioned earlier a little bit about what this book entails, but there's like this like in the background of this romance story, we're getting grief and healing. Her mom has died, like I mentioned. So you're getting like a little bit of grief and healing from that, but also both of them are kind of grieving and healing from their divorces. Even though one of the divorces was years prior, he still has kids with that woman. And there's still this like balance of a relationship that has to happen because he has kids. It was just very good. It was nice reading a romance that wasn't about like your first love, but like an older, more mature romance. There wasn't a lot of spice in this book, which I absolutely love. I'm all for spice when it makes sense to the story. And this had like 2 scenes, but both of them added to the story and didn't take away from it. I love the relationship between between Michelle and her dog, between Michelle and Cliff's 2 daughters. I do love a good single dad romance, and this is up there with the best of them. This did have like the same cute, cozy, small town vibes that most of your small town books have, but I felt like this was done very well. It was done differently. She's also not your typical like cutesy girl that you read in romances. She's very standoffish and not great with people, and she's got tons of walls put up. And then we got tons of fall things that were going on. It did span from like the beginning of fall throughout Halloween and then into Christmas and New Year's. But this was still perfect for this time of year, and you could honestly read it like anywhere in the Burr months. It would fit perfectly anywhere there. And no weird third act breakup. If the rest didn't sell you, let that sell you, because I cannot stand useless third act breakups. This was just a near perfect book for me. We started off this reading vlog with a pretty fantastic first book, and I hope the rest of them can keep my hype going. The next book we're going to read is Anji Kills a King, and this is by Evan Leikam. This is his debut novel. Anji is a castle servant that's doing laundry for a king she hates. So when a rare opportunity presents itself, she seizes the chance to cut his throat. Then she runs for her life. In her wake, the kingdom is thrown into disarray, while a bounty bigger than anyone could imagine lands on her head. On her heels are the fabled mercenaries of the menagerie, whose animal-shaped masks are magical relics rumored to give them superhuman powers. It's the hawk who finds her first, a surely aging swordswoman who has her own reasons for keeping Anji alive, and out of the hands of her fellow bounty hunters, if only long enough to collect the reward herself. That is going to be our next book. I cannot wait to see what this entails. Good morning. I'm kind of sick, so my voice is a little deeper than normal. And I'm talking a little low because everybody's still sleeping, but I wanted to give you an update on Anji Kills a King. I'm only like 50 pages into this book. I know that really isn't too much to be able to give an opinion yet. However, the only thing that's happened is exactly what's on the back of the book. Anji has killed a king. One of the menagerie has found her, the hawk, and the rest of the menagerie are trying to find them. There's been no world building. There's been no like real reason for me to connect to the character. It's interesting, but I don't care about the character. I think she's rude. Right now, all we've heard is the king is bad.
he was a bad man. But now that she's killed him, there's like these religious zealots that are now taking over. So like she made this decision to kill this king without any thought or purpose or anything as of right now anyways. I wouldn't say the book has hooked me, but I also wouldn't say it's bad because I really don't know anything else besides what's on the back of the book. So I'm going to continue reading and hope that we get a little bit more of a look into the world and some reason is given for me to connect to this character. I actually like the hawk the most so far. She's like this ancient woman who has been the hawk forever. And there's also some type of magic that I don't know if it just revolves around the helmet that she has or if it's some other type of magic. It really hasn't been explained at all. So I am looking forward to seeing what happens though. Yeah, hopefully something draws me in soon. Otherwise, I don't know what we're going to do. I've officially made it halfway through Anji Kills the King. And what this is turning out to be is like a travel book, but like not a crazy exciting one. I don't know how really to explain it. We're traveling somewhere, something happens. Traveling somewhere else, we're taking care of a horse. But I still don't know what the exact plot of the book is, unless the plot is literally the hawk taking Anji in because she killed the king. But we already know that. So I feel like there should be more of a plot. It's not bad, but nothing makes me want to pick it up. We still have really had no explanation on the magic system, still not learning any background, really. The only thing we've been told, which you can kind of like assume from the beginning of the book, is that now that the king's dead, these like religious zealots are moving in and taking control. That's really all I got so far besides the traveling. I don't know. I don't think I've really read a traveling book quite like this. There's usually way more action involved. And I don't know if books like this are for me. And also, there's still nothing that's making me really feel connected to either character. So I'm definitely going to finish it. It's taking me so long to finish this book. Like I've been reading this for days and I'm only halfway through. And it's just because nothing makes me want to binge it. We'll see if something changes. Maybe something big will come out at the end that'll make it worth it. I don't know. We're going to give it a chance, I guess. I finally finished Anji Kills a King. And I don't think any of my opinions changed from the last time I spoke to you. Maybe I've just read way too many epic fantasies that I really don't consider this an epic fantasy. I think maybe I'm not the target market for this type of book. And maybe this would go really well with someone who's not ready to jump into epic fantasies yet, but needs kind of like that little slow start to kind of get into it, where there's not much world building, no crazy magic system. You're kind of just jumping in and reading. So that's really all I'm going to say about that. I think someone that isn't into epic fantasies and is trying to get into them might enjoy this. The last 5% of the book was great. And I know this is a debut novel, so honestly, if he can take what he did in the last 5% of this book and push it in and put more of that into the next books, I think I would definitely read more of this author in the future. I just maybe need to wait for more growth. More of like an epic setting versus this. Something that can be more fleshed out. So that brings us to our last book of our reading vlog, and the one I'm most excited about, to be honest. We're just going to jump right into This Is How You Lose the Time War by Max Gladstone and Amal El-Mohtar. Two writers speaking to each other across time and, I wanted to say space, but I don't know if that's technically correct. It says, a twisting sapphic time travel fantasy love story that never stops surprising. Readers will reach the end and want to turn back to the start. I love the rivals writing against each other type of thing. on two different sides. I kind of got that a little bit in Divine Rivals, and I have a feeling this is going to do it even better. I don't know why. It's a short book, but I guess we're going to see. Have you guys ever read a book and it made you feel so incredibly stupid? That is how This Is How You Lose the Time War made me feel. I tried to physically read it. I don't know why my brain is just not comprehending the words that I'm reading, but I found that I was like rereading the first couple pages over and over again, and I'm like, what the heck am I reading right now? So I do have a Spotify subscription, and I haven't used any of my audiobook time for this month. If I'm a little out of breath, I just climbed up 3 flights of stairs. Don't judge me. So I started listening to it on Spotify. Do I understand everything they're talking about? No. However, it is so beautifully written, and I am getting like the main gist of the story. I still don't really understand either of our two characters, and maybe you're not supposed to. Maybe that's part of like the intrigue of the book. They're not exactly human, but I don't know if they're like android type of being, plant-like being, I don't know. But they are literally jumping around through time. I'm like now 63% of the way done. And they're jumping around through time. You have red and blue. They are fighting this huge war. And there's all of these little periods throughout time that are like individual battles in this grand war that's happening throughout like all space and time. So for instance, if Blue's objective is for this future to succeed, they are going to make sure that this person thousands of years ago doesn't even get the chance to live. And Red, because they don't want that future to succeed, they want their future to succeed, is going to sabotage Blue because they want this guy to have a future. I know that's a little confusing, but it's kind of like the gist of what's going on back and forth. And as they're going through all of these little battles, you get these two women and they start writing letters to each other. And at first, it's just to antagonize the other to let them know, like, hey, I won. I outsmarted you. And then the next one will happen and she outsmarted her. And then it turns into kind of like a friendship with this banter back and forth. And now it's kind of turning into a little bit something more than a friendship. But it's so beautiful. I'm really enjoying it. And I'm so glad I tried the audio because I thought for sure I was DNFing. The second I felt like I couldn't read that book, I don't know, I haven't felt like that in so long. I've not really come across a book that I felt like I couldn't comprehend when reading. But for some reason, the audio just does it for me. I don't think this will be a book for everyone, but I'm really enjoying this journey that it's taking me on. And it's not really giving me divine rivals, but it is like that love, that friendship that forms throughout like the distance. You do get that in this book, and it's kind of like you get that feel of I will follow you throughout 1,000 lifetimes, because they're traveling future to past, like back and forth throughout time. And you're getting these little hints of the Roman Empire, of Atlantis, of dinosaurs, of pilgrimages happening, and these catastrophic events that are affecting what the future is going to become. And those catastrophic events are caused by either red or blue. And there's a ton of different agents, but the specific red and blue that we are talking about are kind of like the best of the best. And they challenge each other to be better. I don't know. I'm just rambling on, but I'm really enjoying this. And I think I'm going to take a break for tonight because I don't really have any more time to listen to a book. I'm going to bring you back when I get closer to the ending. But so far, I'm really, really loving it. I just finished This Is How You Lose the Time War. I don't know how I can go from saying this book makes me feel so stupid because I can't physically read it to this is one of my favorite books I've ever read. I still couldn't physically read it. I don't know why I am just not able to comprehend this book physically, but I listened to it and it made all the difference. It literally felt like, I don't know the word I'm looking for, enchanted, entranced. I don't know the word I'm looking for right now. My brain is dead. I don't feel great still. So please, once again, excuse my voice. I'm still sick. And honestly, I don't even know how to explain this book to you without spoiling it. Besides what I've already told you, we have two FMCs that are like these spies or agents, and they're both on opposite sides of this war. The ending of this book, ugh, these two agents that I mentioned the last time, it's like they have this choreographed dance throughout time. And they're literally touching through all these different time periods. And they're kind of like literally in this perfect dance with each other. But each of them are tweaking time to benefit their sides' beliefs. And the ending of this book is literally the most beautiful ending ever. Like this book is not leaving me. It will forever just stay in my brain. And the audio isn't even that long. It's only like 4.5 hours. I listened to it on 1.2 times speed. So I don't know if it's actually a little longer than that, but it took me about 4.5 hours to listen to it. I don't think this book is going to be for everyone, but I highly recommend it. I highly recommend the audio. Physically, I don't know. I guess if you have the brain for like very poetic writing, you would probably like the physical as well, but I highly recommend the audio. I loved it. And that brings us to the end of this reading vlog. I really enjoyed reading books that I don't see people talking about very often, either not often or not at all. I feel like when I read books that are very popular and everyone's talking about it, everyone's reading it, that like I somehow get their opinions like stuck in my head. And I'm going into a book with like these extremely high expectations. It's not even necessarily, let me rephrase that. It's not what they say about the book that makes my reading experience different. It's the extreme hype of it all. So that I'm not going into a book thinking, let's just see where this takes me, which is what I did with all three of these books. If it's an extremely hyped book, I will go in with an expectation of this is God tier. Because how can so many people rave about it and it not be? Except then I read it and it is not God tier. And I end up disliking it or rating it extremely low. So I think this is a series I'll be continuing. I have tons of books on my bookshelves that I don't see people talking about. And I need to start giving those books a chance and not just the overhyped popular releases that I've been reading lately. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and discovering these new books. If you are new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. I hope y'all have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.